Anytime when you're ready.
Anytime you ready, you use the intro, man.
Righteous.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so guys, once again, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Laymans Project. Franz is going to bring in our guest, so I'm no longer burying the lead. Take it away, Franzo.
I heard Vaughn feelings like the first episode.
First few
Let's
episodes.
not bury the lead.
I used to have to, edit out.
And then hit the. I wasn't throwing a shot at him, but he took it personally because he's mentioned it every single episode since then. Anyway, hi everyone.
I got over it.
Intro time. Trinidadian-born producer Michael Tano Montano has worked with some of the biggest names in the music industry, both locally and globally, including Rema, Nicki Minaj, Sean Paul, Shenseea, Mike Towers, Russian, Machel Montano, Kess, Nyla Blackman, and most recently and successfully, Michael Tano. He is the co-producer and co-writer of this year's Road March winner, DNA, by Michael Tano. He absolutely dominated this year's Soca charts, holding the top 5 Soca songs in the country for consecutive weeks, with Tack Back, his collaboration with Kess, being the #1 streamed Soca song globally. He recently collaborated with Grammy Award-winning artist Sean Paul and Soca superstar Kess to produce and write this year's official anthem for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the C-Suite and the Laymans Project, Michael Montano. Applause.
Living without you, baby.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens is coming down.
Okay, guys, let me tell you all something about Fluke Designs. Today's sponsor will allow you to furnish your home with cabinetry and countertops. Their professional designs provide various options, allowing you to seamlessly integrate appliances into your living space. You can also have hurricane impact windows and doors designed and built with laminated glass. You guys can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. They provide free video chat consultations with their designer, or a site visit can be arranged. In case you'd like to book an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 388-5279. That's 388-5279. And don't forget to use promo code Laymans to save 5% on your order. Fluke Designs. You dream, we design and build.
It's a long applause.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. You can talk over it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you can, but it's loud too now. Mikey, thank you, sir,
thank you, guys.
for joining us.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Cheers, man.
Welcome
Cheers.
to the project.
Boom.
Okay, no cheers from France. Not going to take
That's
that risk.
supposed to cheers water, boy.
Okay.
You know,
Michael did it.
I'm a traditionalist. He did, but you felt peer
I
pressure.
felt bad,
That's exactly right. So, Michael,
Yo.
welcome.
how's that?
Nah, I was just like
Okay,
gesturing
cool.
your bananas, high fives and handshakes. all
Awkward.
around.
Yeah.
This is the awkward
I don't
episode, guys.
know what to
Just
do
in
with my
case you're-
hands. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem.
As I said, you dominated Soca this year.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone I've known you many, many years,
Yeah.
it thrills me to see
bro.
you all doing so well.
Thank you, man.
And so I'm really, really proud
Appreciate
of
that,
having seen you. And I had the pleasure of seeing Michael on the road Carnival Tuesday as the numbers started racking up. And then
I saw you. Sorry if I do remember. I did see you this Tuesday.
this Tuesday, yeah.
Okay.
No, you and Kess were in form.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He was more informed than me, but
He,
yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
Shouts to Kess. You were
Yo,
in
Kess.
Shout
form.
out to Kess, man.
You were in form for Carnival
Yes,
Tuesday. But
yes.
yeah, bounced you up on the savannah. And,
Right.
And you were feeling a little nervous.
Yeah, I was.
Because
Yeah, I wasn't-
honestly, Bungie had a monster
I thought
tune as well.
It was a big tune, and I didn't
Yeah.
think we won. To be honest, I really didn't think we were gonna win the next day.
And then the next
And
day.
the next day happened.
So
Yeah.
we might as well start there.
Yes.
But
what
I
was-
actually, I knew DNA was going to win.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I
Why?
always felt DNA was gonna win.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Why you
But-
thought it was gonna win though?
Okay, so I remember some fete I went and Bungie performed and he was promoting his tune, right? And when that tune comes on, it actually hits you. The instrumental, how it begins. Dun, 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 dun.
I actually love that song. Like I love
I
that song.
love, I love Bungie's. I love Bungie's
Before it
song.
was actually like a big song. I heard it, I was like, I like this. Like I really, really like that song. Yeah.
But no offense or anything, but that is my favorite song for
Yeah.
Carnival. I listen to that in
No
the
offense
gym,
taken,
everything.
yeah.
But that is only because DNA came out so early. So everybody was like, nah, no way this is going to win Road Match because it came out too early. But like he was promoting it in some fete. I was listening to it, and it was like, yeah, I feel like he'll make it. Carnival Monday and Tuesday, every single 3 minutes was DNA.
Who you played with?
Bliss. It was Bliss.
And you heard DNA more than Carnival Contract?
Yeah.
Well, bro, I must have been in a different band.
You was in Bliss?
I
You
was
were,
in-
you
I
were
was-
probably
I was-
just listening out for Carnival
No,
Contract.
I was in.
Yeah.
I kind of was like going around Bliss Tribe,
Uh-huh.
and I swear I was like, okay, like I feel like I heard DNA like a handful of times. I feel like I heard Contract every 5 minutes.
No, and just because I was listening out for Contract because that is like
That's
that
your
for me.
song.
For me, that is my tune, and I'm telling you, like every couple minutes is DNA.
Yeah,
So we probably had different perspectives because you know you're like, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean, you
Yeah.
want your tune to win, but I am looking out
Yeah.
to hear that song and it's like, oh, DNA again.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with DNA. DNA is an amazing
Not only
song.
is nothing wrong with DNA, it won.
It's well, okay, France. But
Yeah.
aside from that, like Tasia himself as a performer, like I understood it because he is really appealed to I guess everybody. Like, his personality,
A
everything.
likable person.
Yeah, he's real. I don't even know him. I never spoke to him. Never, nothing. But it's like from a
Great guy,
distance, he's
great guy.
performing. You could feel it. You know what I mean?
But yeah, so what was it like when you
To
woke
win?
up and
So okay, I'll
Heard the
walk
news.
you through Wednesday. So Wednesday I woke up feeling not so good because obviously it's Ash Wednesday, so you're feeling a little hungover, too much sun, and I literally woke up and I was like for me the feeling was like I literally thought we lost. So I was like, okay, like you didn't win, and I actually saw some people on the road like the end of Tuesday. Like I saw my barber, and like he was whole season he was like, boy, DNA winning, boy, DNA winning. I saw him Carnival Tuesday. He was drunk, right? And he was like, you lose, boy. and I was just like, honestly, like even to just be in the position.
What a pal.
Yeah, just to be in the position to even be in like the conversation is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And I think I felt like, way boy, like we get so far and we lose, boy, like, and it's really like because some people might never be in like you might have good songs, but to get into the category of like a road match is it's a bit of luck too now. Like you could have a good song, but like a road match is a different like type of thing now. So I was like, wait, boy, we reached so far to even be in the conversation and we lose. And I was like, all right, cool, no problem. I wasn't sad. I was just like, wait, boy, you
Like it was close, yeah.
and then like my cousin called me, who was also like a big, supporter, and he was like, nah, boy, yeah, win. Like, and that's normal family Trinidad, right?
I love Trinis.
And,
bro.
Nice.
and
love
I was
Trinis
like,
for that.
I was like, okay, like that morning was like a real like, I wasn't sad. I wasn't like, I was just like going through the day, and then
preparing for the peacock.
yeah, so I was home. I can't remember where my wife was at the time. I was home, and somebody messaged me to say they were just like, congrats. I can't remember what time it was. Actually, no. Actually, did I speak to Teja, boy? I can't remember if I spoke to Teja. Anyway, but somebody messaged me saying congrats at like probably like 11 a.m. And I thought they were saying congrats on like, hey, congrats on a good season or whatever. Like I didn't really read the message, and I was like, but wait now, like why she? So then I checked the, what's the name of the people that announced Road March again?
Carnival Commission.
Yeah, I checked their Instagram page and I saw I just saw DNA on the top and I saw the plays and I was like, okay, I like literally scream, sort of like cough up the wall. Like that was like for me, Dread, like winning a road match as a producer, as a musician, it's like, especially being from Trinidad, like you could tell me now, like, all right, I'm gonna give you a Billboard #1 with Justin Bieber, and I might say that mightn't feel as good as winning a road match, even though you're probably gonna make more money. It's just like
Yeah.
that's like. It's more than it's like a title. It's like that's for like my people
Trinity
now.
Cross.
Yeah,
Well, culturally,
Culturally,
it's
and
the
like-
most significant.
yeah, and then you obviously you have like your family and friends are involved. Like my mom is a big like she's a big fan of Panorama. Like she was at Panorama when they were playing. Like so that all those moments kind of added to the whole winning as well too. So yeah, that was probably probably one of the best moments for me as a producer.
So this was your first road match?
first road match.
Wow,
yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
No, as you mentioned, playing DNA in Pan, my Facebook profile picture right now is
Yeah.
me standing like this.
Yeah.
In Pan, eyes
Yeah.
closed, just absorbing it,
Yeah,
and it's
and that-
DNA they were playing.
That was honestly hearing them. I can't remember which band it was, but hearing that was like because they took it to like a next level. Like
No,
they took
chills,
crazy,
boy.
yeah, crazy,
Chills.
crazy.
It was
Yeah,
so
DNA is an amazing song, but
Yeah.
the amazing thing about DNA is people actually got time to get fed up of DNA, and they
Yes.
still loved it right up to Carnival Tuesday.
DNA could play now, and I will still get chills.
No, it's an
Listen to it.
amazing song.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you act, I actually don't like soca music. Really, it's not my thing.
yeah.
But
Certain
hands
songs.
down,
Certain
DNA, that Bungie,
Yeah.
like there's some select Marshall Montanos. Like it has to be like a really well done song, and
Yeah. And you're in.
DNA is really well done, man.
Thanks, bro.
That song is amazing.
And shouts to Michael Teja too.
Yeah. That's
Of
the
course.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without you.
Couldn't,
boss. Literally.
Tano couldn't have done it without you. But no, congrats again. But so that's today. So take it straight back. How did the musical beginning begin?
So for like me as a producer.
You as a producer, as a musician, because I
okay.
know you're also an artist.
Right, so I started off as an artist in 2011. So I dropped out of school. I was in school in Canada in my third year of university, and I dropped out of school to do music, which was like a big, your parents like, what?
Well, I'm now gonna say so.
Yeah.
Stop right there. So
Right.
how did that come about?
Right, so I actually had a brethren in university who was actually still he was actually one of my groomsmen at my wedding. And he randomly came up to me in school one day and he was like, yo, Montano, bro, like, your name sounds like an artist name, bro. And I was like, well, actually.
Funny you should mention.
Yeah, it's actually,
Yeah.
they have a man and they have a guy from where I'm from. His name is Marshall. And his name is Marshall Montano, so, right? So then he was like, yo, I have a mic and like a little studio setup. Like, we go and like record some can we curse? We can curse?
You can say whatever you want, man.
Yeah, so he's like, let's go record some shit or whatever. So we went there. That kind of happened. I recorded my first song. I think that, it wasn't good, but I thought it was good, right? And then I was like, I think it was my brother and my cousin were like telling my parents, yo, like Michael have talent or whatever. Which at that point, I'm looking back was like a little bit of a risky decision because I really was not that promising at that point in time to even be. I was just kind of like, I played the piano. I never was in choir. I never was in like a band growing up. I just kind of had like a love for music, but I just figured, well, everybody like music. That don't mean I should make music for a living, right? So dropped out of school. My cousin knew, so shout out to Alan, my cousin Alan Montano. So he knew,
Big up, Alan.
he knew Hans from Kess, the band, Hans the Fatala. And he kind of put me in touch with them and he like introduced me to some producers locally. So that's how I kind of got started. But that was the first set of producers I met was two guys by the name of Ricky Bobby, rest in peace, and Johan Madman.
Right.
So I used to go up in the studio in Santa Cruz. That's actually where I met Kess. That was like 2012. And I really was not good. Like in those days, like those studio sessions for me, like I used to leave there like upset because I was just like not good. Like they were telling me like one night they were like, yo, just record on the metronome, which is obviously the thing you keep
beat.
time. And like I didn't know what that was. Like I didn't know how to sing in time. It was bad, right? And so those were like some dark, that was like the early stages of it. And I think I went through a lot of times where I was like, all right, this is not for me. Like I feel like I literally almost gave up music in 2015, which was like, what is that? Like how long?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. And the reason I'm still in it was because I got a call from Marshall, because that's like when I now started producing. So like I was, at 2015 I was like, I done. I went through too much embarrassment. Too much people like me like, Michael, what you doing, bro? And I remember that's when I now started making beats. And I sent a, kind of like a not so good beat, but it was decent. And I can't remember how I got Marshall's email, but I sent him a long email like, "Dear Mr. Montano, my name is blah, blah, blah. I want to send you this. It'll be an honor to work with you." I really was not even expecting like any reply, like nothing, right? That was 2015. And like maybe 4 or 5 months later, it was my birthday. I was intoxicated, home by me in San Fernando. And my phone rings in the evening, and it was like a Los Angeles number. And obviously, as somebody who's never, worked with any type of artist I got. So I answered the phone and it was like,
Michael.
right. So I then was like, oh God, who's this boy?
Who's this?
Like I don't know. Like I was like, and I was
Well,
I
then
was
fed
drunk
up
too.
on me,
I was
boy.
like,
Come on.
I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God, who's this boy? And he was like,
I don't have time for this dread. I drinking,
yeah,
but
it was like, it's Marshall. And then I think when he said it, I was okay, like this is too good of an impersonation. And I was like, obviously it was like super excited. And that conversation, led to like, I think me feeling like, all right, maybe I have some sort of, if he calling you, I felt like that was like a sign, okay, hold on a little bit. And then that kind of led into like,
But
other
what was
stuff.
the song like you worked with him
That song?
on?
So that song never came out. It was just a demo that he liked.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's,
Okay.
I mean, that's how, Marshall is somebody who, for the song to come out, it have to be like every part.
Okay,
of
I
it have to
actually,
be-
okay, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
he's a beast when it comes to
no,
what he
you
does.
would hear that about Marshall, like his work ethic and his
Crazy.
perfectionism
It's crazy.
for his music because it's his brand.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
So he
would-
record a whole song
wouldn't
and
play
then
around.
So we had a session with Marshall for a song called Shake the Place, which I did with Destra. That was a
Right,
year and a
yeah.
half ago. I actually, Teja produced and wrote on that song. And that studio session was 18 hours long straight. So we started the session at midnight and we left that session at 6 p.m. the next day. Like, men fall asleep, wake back up. It was a lot. It's a lot. But that's why he is who whether you like soca or not, or whether you're into, like, he is the best. He's one of like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is
Facts,
the,
yeah.
he is the best at,
yeah.
at that genre.
At that, yeah.
I don't even like soca. I could listen to a Marshall CD.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. He's like a
Yeah.
perfectionist.
So the art, but you did release music as
Right.
an
So
artist,
so
didn't
yes,
you?
so I did. So I released 2 songs, I believe, in 2013. That timing as an artist.
And you were still getting fatigue from your friends, but what you really doing here, boy?
Yeah, for sure. Because like I think we, our culture is not really like
Supportive.
Yeah, to say you're doing music in Trinidad is a very weird thing to say to some people, especially of like the older generation. Like I remember like a lot of aunts and uncles were like, "Yeah, sure."
Imagine if you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. Again, so that's like I remember a time I have one of my dad's friends. I was telling him what I was doing. I was like, I think it was like he's an insurance agent, so I was gonna handle my insurance, and I was like, he was like, "What the purpose profession?" So I was like, "Well, just put musician." He was like, "What do you mean musician? Like, what do you do? You just blow a flute, you just strum a quattro." It really is not something that you could just say like, well, yeah, now I could say it because they will know certain things, but like to start in music, I think is a very hard thing to say like, all right, I'm gonna do this and like get like genuine support. Like my parents supported, but it was more like, all right, well, like we hope this work out.
If this is what you want to do, then
Yeah, but it was like they have no advice to really give me. It's almost like throw into the fire kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but okay. From there to winning the road match, like where did you get support and the encouragement? Like, okay, so we know Marshall stopped you from quitting
2015.
in 2015.
Yeah.
But like along the way, so
Right.
like what's happening to?
So I mean, like again, I feel like there's a lot of little things that happen. So I mean, after that call, I kind of started getting more into the production, and like I think it's just like finding mentors. So actually, funny enough, I met Teja in 2015, and he actually taught me how to produce. Like showed me, like he was like my first like person, showed me a lot of stuff. So it's kind of crazy now that I am producing for him or with him now. So that was like 2015. So that, met him at that time, and then, just kind of started working with different artists like, Calpi, Jimmy October. Those are like the first set of people I started working with and kind of like grew with them. And then through that music is how I met Kess. Then obviously started working with Marshall again and all these other people,
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, it sounds like it's just, I guess, just practice.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's just like you just had to stay. Like for me, all I did was just stay in my room and make beats all day. Like literally, that would be my advice to somebody. Like you have to just perfect your craft, and then the rest will kind of take care of itself in a way. When you get your skill set up, then you can step into certain rooms and be able to offer different things. Because like music is weird. It's like you could have a good skill set, but at the end of the day, it's creativity, right? So I could be good at making songs, but to find songs like a DNA, you have to like actually sit down and like try and find like what are we singing about, like try and find the concept. So it is a mixture of building your skill set. Like, you go to the gym, you have to eat well, you have to train, but also it's creative. Like, you can't just do the same thing all the time. So, like, now I trying to find what's the next version of that for this year. I can't do the same thing I did last year. I can't go and do incline dumbbell press again.
No, I understand. Like,
You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's
so
like,
just to expand on.
Sorry, I keep using gym.
No, nothing wrong with that because you could know.
I feel like it's
You could
gym
know
guy.
you could know as much
So
as
I
you
feel like-
want about gym, but you wouldn't win a show because you don't have the symmetry of what you would still need. You still need to create a product with that knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And the same thing, so you could know how to produce, but I would listen to music and not because you are here on the show. I have listened to DN and I'm like, why do I like this song so much? And I'm like, you're listening to it. I don't like soca.
Right.
So I'm listening to this song and it's like, this is how did he know to say no place like home instead of no place like home? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like how do you
So that's just Teja. So like Teja would have wrote those lines. We kind of go and working with Teja is really good because it's like there's no ego. So there's literally me and him will be in the room. He would say a word and be like, nah, I don't like that, corny. And it's like, all right, come again, So he's a beast too. He's been doing it for like years as well too. So I feel like his pen game now is like really, really sharp.
Yeah, because you're writing it, and then you have to sing it. So
Yeah.
how do you, you know what I mean? That honestly just kind of amazed me.
And to be honest, even the process of doing DNA, like it wasn't even called DNA. We didn't even have the word DNA. So we started off. So that song started off with just the guitar, like the guitar loop, which you would hear in the song, and it's honestly the process of making a song is so weird and so random. It's like you really never know when that next song gonna come. Like literally, he was by me in the studio. I can't even remember why or when I played the guitar loop, which is what sparked the whole thing. And I just pressed play, and I don't even think the whole thing played. And he was like, "What's that?" And then he started like writing, "When we outside is the ocean." Like that was literally like he's like, I don't know if he just have them lines in his head and he'll just work on that. But I was like, okay, I like that. And then it just kind of like kept going. And then I think we had some of the main melodies you would hear now, but it was a process of we record that little one section and a couple of weeks later he'd be like, yo, I'm on a flight here to New York and I have an idea to like use DNA as a concept. I was like, okay, so it's really just,
and then you build from
coming back,
on top of that.
And and I think that's how you get like great songs now. Like you have to really, because I could just sit down and freestyle melodies and it will sound good, but it's like at the end of the day, what is the name of the song? Like what are we singing about now? And that's the hard part to find.
Well, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't like a song unless it's like relatable.
Yeah.
Right? So my thing, I guess that I would say against soca is none of that music
Relates.
really resonates. I'm not the kind of person I really dislike Hot Sun.
Yeah.
I'm
Doesn't
not
drink a lot.
I'm not big on alcohol. I don't want to duck work and party. Like I'm not a so when you singing a song like that, you wouldn't even catch me singing along to that because it's like what the hell, what sense does this make? And nothing against anybody who's into that, but I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, okay, so there's hope. I should really just stay home and fiddle around with editing and you know what I mean, and build up because the same as you.
Yeah.
Like with the podcast thing, is like an idea that we had, and now I'm getting into it where like in my free time I'll be like, this edit might look good or whatever the case may be, and Fran said this and she said that, so I could one of these days I might just put something together, and it will light up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'm listening to you, and this is so weird because you're listening to the radio and they talk about Tano, and it's like now.
Yeah.
5 minutes ago, Fran's like, we have Michael Montano, every case may be. I get so much teeth-head every single time he send me a message. I'm like, nervous, like, wait, Marsha Montano. Thing is like, oh no, it's Michael Montano.
Yeah.
This food's fucking
Which is, we actually family too, by the way,
Serious?
Yeah, that was
actually
going to be a
related,
question.
So
If
we
you're-
are
if you're
related.
Tracy Tree.
We are. He did his ancestry, and he actually told me, he was like, long story short, somewhere along the way, something happened, and we are family. Yeah. So
He was like, Michael, what's going on with you, boy?
So part of your because I want to know what the producing process, producing, writing,
Right.
recording, that kind of thing
Right.
is anyway.
Right.
But it sounds to me, and I've noticed this in like, because I've always consumed music documentaries and things.
Right.
And they all sound exactly like what you just said.
Right.
He heard a riff and is like,
Save that.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then one time lyrics just started to come.
Yeah.
So the process part, a big part of the process to me seems to be
Yeah.
this like perpetual optimism of always looking for an opportunity.
Yeah.
And then just seizing on it.
And just being ready for that. So that's the thing where for me now I feel like even if I don't feel like going to the studio, it's like, all right, let me just show up. I might feel like, you know, even
because
like
anything could happen.
anything could happen, you know,
Right.
like, and I have a you know, a couple of musicians I work with. Big up to Kyle Peters. He would have played the guitar on DNA, and literally all the soca stuff I did this year, Runaway, Tack Back, whatever. And
Hey, I love Runaway. Let me just
yeah, so
let me just
Runaway,
say
yeah.
that's
So
one of them sleeper hits
yeah,
for this year too.
So like I remember, so the same DNA. So like I called them when I was like, bro, I have Tasha coming tomorrow. Like just give me some chords, and those chords turned into be DNA. You know. So and again, like he probably didn't feel like linking that day. That was online. We were just like on FaceTime, whatever. You know. So a lot of the time is like being ready to get the idea when it's there. You know, when it presents itself. You know, which is hard sometimes because you kind of have to force it sometimes. And it's also creativity, so you can't really force it.
You
all
can't
the
force
time.
it too much, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's not like to say, well, like
But when it feels right,
you have to, yeah, you
feels
have
right.
to, yeah, for sure.
So the general production process,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably not the same all the time.
Yeah.
But generally speaking,
What is it?
for soca, which comes first, the beat or the
Or the song?
lyrics?
So for me now, I find like I'm the type. So because I write as well too, usually as I start a beat, I would start writing melodies. So like for example, Tack Back by Kess. So I had like the guitar and the bass, and I literally had like the first line, which is "Look at people in it tonight, dance with me." Babe." So I like wrote the first couple lines, which we would have tweaked later with Kess when he came in. But like I feel like once I get like an opening line, I feel like I know that
It starts to flow
like
after that.
yeah, and like something is there, you know. So like, and again, every artist is different, right? So Kess, you know, he likes to be a part of the process. So it's a case where I would have like an opening line, and he would, like, you know, it's just honestly every song is different too, Dread. Like it's really like no song is the same. Like with Runaway, for example, was again Kyle just had the guitar loop. I honestly when we wrote Runaway, we didn't even leave being like, yeah, that real bad. It was just like, all right, cool. We didn't like record it. We just had like a voice note of the whole of like the majority of the song. And it's only when Teja like recorded the demo and sent it back to me, I was like, wait, all right, this bad, you know. So yeah, that's like every song is different. But most of the time, when I'm making a beat, I would kind of have a little song idea in mind, which sometimes might turn out to be the song, sometimes it might not, you know.
Right.
You know.
Okay, so sometimes it's the beat, sometimes it's the melody,
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, it's just like piecing it together. So like I might have just the chords, and then like, so like I have someone I'm working on now. Like I have a bass, you know, a guy coming to play bass later, and it's just piecing together. Like, okay, I feel like we could change the groove for this part of the song here, and it's like every week you might make a
What do
little.
you mean, like later tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, okay.
So you know,
Musician's life, yo.
yeah, you know. I mean, I like to work early, but you know, I have stuff to get finished. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah, so like it's a lot of little tactical changes. You might say, okay, this might need to change. And I've actually, you know, through working with Marshall, I've learned that like every little thing counts now. Like working with him this year on his Calypso, like I saw him sit down for like an hour on my laptop, and he was like just nudging the timing of the bass line, like very like minor changes. It's like, yo, that's like those little movements are the difference between like good and great.
Good
now.
and great.
You know, and it's like that for me now has me not kind of like, all right, it might sound good, but can we get like better now? You know, so I'm trying to be more, yeah, like that basically.
So you also worked on the Calypso Monarch.
Yeah, so
track with-
I produce that.
You
Wait,
serious?
Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
you didn't even put that in your bio,
I
bro.
forgot. Sorry.
We
sorry,
gotta
sorry.
talk about that. That
Yeah.
song is amazing.
Yeah.
So Road March winner,
Calypso Monarch.
Calypso Monarch
Yeah,
winner.
yeah. Solar Calypso.
Well, double cheers to you, bro.
man.
You have,
Oh,
you have anything left in that bottle?
Cheers. I don't.
Double cheers.
I mean,
Have a
am
look-
I
have a
gonna?
look, yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna.
nah, don't raise
I'm
your
gonna
bottle
impress
water again.
Yeah.
you. Go on away.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, so Calypso itself, I mean, it's not the as large as it once was.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with a Calypso track as opposed to soca music?
So I learned a lot about I mean, again, I still don't know enough to talk a lot about calypso, but I feel like working on it with Marshall, you know, he recently got his, I think, degree in, I'm not sure what the degree was in, right? But like he was telling me all the different types of calypsos, like the different styles, like, you know, they have ones with the different bars, like, you know, and it's just, there's so much I don't know. It kind of opened up my eyes to like, all right, if I really want to be a producer, like I have to not just, like I have to know a lot more of where we came from.
Right.
You know, so I feel like that's part of what I'm trying to do now is, you know, obviously I understand enough about music to make a song, make a beat, but I also want to understand, you know, what was the foundation of like where we came from. You know? So working with him on that was definitely like eye-opening to see, okay, like the different styles of calypso, like from early on with like, you know, like the brass and just the different instruments. There's a lot that goes into like what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really, really cool working with him. As it is always.
So you're like, okay, feel we could safely say
Yeah.
you're a boss producer as far as soca. We wouldn't. So you're getting your feet wet with the calypso. Any? Do you dabble in any other genres or?
Yeah, so like I do a lot of work with Russian in Miami. So I've done stuff with
Like
like
dancehall.
So like Afrobeat as well too with Rema.
Remo.
A lot of like Latin stuff. So I do stuff with Mike Towers. And even like that world, there's a lot of stuff that has not come out yet. But that world has allowed me to see the, you know, that's like a little different than the soca world. Because like even like musically, the beats up there is a lot different to like a soca beat. And I actually started doing that before I was doing soca. Like, so I was working with Russian before, you know, I was working with most of the soca artists. So it's really cool to be able to be in, it's kind of like two different worlds. So like what I would do, you know, but now I feel like I'm trying to mix the worlds. So I feel like my soca has that kind of hybrid sound of like, I try to make like, take like modern sounds you might hear in like a pop song and put it into like a soca, you know, which I think is where we are headed sonically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what about?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
What about like getting like more Trini talent into other genres? Like, okay, look how like Trinidad kind of blew up. That was with some Trinidadians kind of messing around with dancehall,
Yeah.
and then they, you know, kind of started doing their own thing. And Trinidad is pretty Trinidad has birthed some like pretty huge collaborations in the music world.
Yeah.
So do you
See that. with
do you
other
feel
artists.
like okay, so that's dancehall? Like maybe you could bring in Afro beats and then
Yeah.
Trinidad could.
Yeah. So
You know?
I do feel like a lot of the artists, like even, you know, Teja, there's a guy called Kutain who I'm working with now who's like super talented. I definitely feel like, but I feel like for me, we could still be, if I would to like see like a international collab with a Trini artist, I would want the Trini artist to be authentic. So not try and sound like American or try and sound like Afrobeat, because I feel like they would come to us for what we could do best,
Right,
which is
right.
like, you know, soca and calypso. We have a like distinctive way we phrase things and our flow, just like dancehall has its own style, and for me it's just trying to find and package what we have and
market it, yeah.
yeah, and just market it and just keep improving the sound, you know.
So it's funny that you say they come to us for what we do well. So we
Yeah.
had a couple members of Lynchpin on last week, and they're basically death metal,
Right.
right? But they went to this competition in Wacken, Germany,
Right.
where they were told that they are not death metal because they have too much melody in their music,
Right.
and they practically dance on stage.
Wow.
And none of these, like the lead singer is not into soca, but
Right.
he, like, after being given that feedback, he looked at himself
Yeah,
and
then
realized
you
he's
assess,
tripping across
right,
the stage
Right.
because, you know,
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
Trini is
in your
Trini.
DNA,
It's Trini.
I guess.
it's in their DNA.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so I think it would truly, and this bothers me about certain segments of Trinidad music anyway, it is a disservice to you as an artist to try to mimic somebody else,
Yeah.
because we have so much richness in our
Yeah.
musical culture down here.
Agreed.
And with so much uniqueness that it seeps its way into death metal. For you to try to imitate somebody
Yeah,
else,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Trini and
I
you
agree.
will
I
reach.
agree, yeah. And you could be Trini in different ways, right? So there's this artist called Annalie Prime. You should check her out. She's incredible. Like she wouldn't,
I've heard that name.
you know, and she's like, she does like folk, pop, calypso. It's incredible. Like she's one of my favorite local artists, and I think there's just so many talented individuals, and what's so cool about her is that she's very Trini in the way she's doing her stuff now. You know, so I feel like if we were to like send somebody out into the world, I feel like it should represent us in a good way. You know, whatever that may be.
Anna Lee Prime, you said?
Anna Lee Prime, yeah, incredible, yeah, real, real good.
We'll look that up later.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know the name, but I've never actually heard the music.
Yeah.
So, segueing slightly, you recently were on a panel
Right.
for, I believe it was an international music conference.
Yeah. So it was a Scotch Musicon conference. It was a collaboration, I think, with Air Committee, Illusions, and I think the government was like, or Ministry of Tourism, I believe. Yeah.
And I saw you on stage with some heavy hitters.
Yeah. That was
Jillian
cool. Casey Phillips, Class Gonzalez,
First Class.
and Advocate Productions, so Kit Israel. Were
Yeah,
all
so-
like who I all kind of started like looking up to.
Well,
And it's
exactly.
cool to
So
be in
that was
position.
gonna be my thing,
Yeah,
right? So when you were starting out, I mean, these guys were
Yeah,
up
I was
there,
trying to work with all of them.
and now you're there with them.
So
So
you're on a panel. with
Yeah.
them.
what does it feel like to
Now they are your peers.
to realize your reach,
Yeah.
but then also to just be there with these guys?
I honestly feel like I tell all my friends is I feel like I have a serious case of like imposter syndrome still. So like being up there with them, I still feel like me, way like how like you know like every time I link with Kess or a Marshall or a Russian, I just still feel like okay, how did I get there? Because it's still like crazy to me, right? But it was surreal. I mean, it still is. You know, every time I kind of have to like pinch myself and be like, okay, like this is the position you're in now. You know, so yeah, it's cool. It's real cool.
And what came out of that conference? I mean, we were talking before we started recording
Yeah.
about the realities of, let's say, smaller artists trying to work
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
guys on your level
Yeah.
and their level.
Yeah.
And Jillian had
Yeah.
a bit of a rough comeback for one of
Yeah.
them. But
Yeah.
what did you take away from
So
that conference?
what I took from that was that, you know, if you're up and coming, you know, you have to be able to, not saying I wouldn't work with an up and coming artist, but you have to be able to bring something to the table, whether it is your ability. Like for me, I will, like if I am just like blown away by somebody's ability and what they do, I will 100% work with them, you know. But for me, if you're an up and coming artist, you kind of have to like grow, like, you know, look for a producer that you can grow with instead of just trying to like come by somebody and just figure, okay, well, just because I go by this person, I'm gonna get hit. Like it doesn't work like that. Like you could, you know, you have to, like you say, build your skill set, whether that is with, you know, you learn to make beats on your own, or you know, you work with a younger producer. Like you have to grow. You know, when I started off, I wasn't trying to work with Marshall or Kess immediately. Like I started off working with people that I was growing with, and eventually those artists kind of started coming around through the work I was doing with
because
these
you
other artists.
practice, you know, you're
Yeah,
honing
you
your
have to,
skill
yeah,
set.
you have to, you know, your skill set has to be up there to be.
Yeah, because I
work in
feel
those
like
rooms.
a producer of that type of prestige, it could be damaging for your brand as well.
Yeah.
If somebody, you produce something with somebody and like you do the absolutely best that you could do,
Yeah.
but their skill level just is just that much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it comes out and then they're like, yeah, Tano produced this, and like,
Yeah.
Tano produced this?
Yeah.
Fuck, that is real mess.
Yeah,
Like, what are you
yeah.
doing now? You mad?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tano fall off.
Yeah, but you know, so you have
Yeah.
to I 100% get it. You have to protect your brand, and
Yeah.
I think in Trinidad, we probably just get a little too emotional. Like if you get blank from, you know, if let me say, hey Tano, you know, send an email and like you send back an email that you're not interested.
Yeah.
You know, you might take it personally, but
busy,
you have to just think about the
Take
whole
emotions. Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
Take emotion, like I'm gonna put myself in Tano's shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you don't wanna.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even I like went through when I was now starting to make beats. I had a friend who was kind of like my mentor at the time, Richard McClashy. So he's another producer who's done some really big things as well too. But like I used to send him beats in the early days, and he was brutally honest, which was great.
Yeah.
Like I would send him beats, and he would literally respond with 5 trash can emojis. That was the response.
Mess.
Oh my
And then and then it would be like,
outside like garbage.
you know, you thought this was good. I mean, and it was just him being like, bro, you have to learn. Like, this is
Yeah.
not good. Like, there's, you know, this is not this is not the tone you. And I didn't, you know, obviously I might have felt a little hurt, but I was like, okay, so then tell me, like, what is not good about this? And I would go to the studio, and he was a big part of my journey, showing me tones and like understand. There's so much that goes into like producing and just like putting some stuff together. Like there's so much sonic stuff you have to learn and stuff, right? And he taught me a lot about that, and that's why I could now work with, like we say, like a Russian or like that world, which is completely different than this world. If I didn't meet him and didn't take that advice and not take it personally, I would not be in a position to be like working in those rooms now. Like you have to take constructive
Yeah, because he's like
criticism,
telling you stuff that's fundamentally wrong. And
Yeah.
again, like I wanna come
Yeah.
back to these episodes going into our catalog, the archives. Because remember, we are actually sitting down with people who are successful in their respective fields and finding out how they did it or whatever, because we are also trying to become successful in what we're doing too. So it's like, so what you are saying, like, it's impactful.
Yeah.
We took some away from Lynchpin, that was impactful. From Faith, it's a mindset. Simi, everybody really is, and I want to say is contributing to like our growth as well as so like listening to you now, I mightn't go home and sleep. I might go and dig up and
edit the podcast.
you know what I mean. So you wanna get more shorts out.
Yeah.
And like I always tell people, I say like look at the episode. You don't even have to watch the whole episode. I know it's long. Just let me know where you don't like.
Constructive criticism. Yeah.
I never ask anybody, do something where you like. Let me know where you do like.
So like, yeah.
That's something where you do like, and all right, cool. And I would take a little bit of offense because I'd be like, well, if that, you know what I mean? You're doing the best you can, but still, it's like, all right, this is going to allow me to do better.
Of course.
So, yeah. Shout outs to all of you that heavily criticize the podcast from time to time. We do not take it personally. We're just trying to, get better.
Don't heavily criticize me, though, because I take some things personally.
Yeah. Don't heavily criticize me in my face.
Yeah.
That's going to be rough.
So,
yeah.
Mikey, you have a pretty prolific work relationship with Kess,
Yeah.
Michael. I honestly I only just found out that the relationship with Kess was born out of music. I kind of just assumed
From
from being in South and
it was it was just through hands we met. Again, when I was trying to be an artist, so we actually had so when I was an artist, when I met the producers in Santa Cruz, they were like, "Yo, a good way to like bust on the scene is to get a song with like a big artist," which was Kess, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, like for me that was like cool, right? So we had a studio session, and I remember being in the session, obviously not being good because I had not been around. Like I literally used to like sing in the shower. I used to like
I like how he's always say like obviously I'm not good.
Nah, because I mean again, like you're not gonna just be good at something that you haven't been doing, right? So I wasn't. I mean, I was probably better than most people because I could like hold a note, but I wasn't good, right? And I remember being in the session with Kess and like Johan and them, and I was just like feeling so like, because I was really not doing good in the session, and I was like that was like one of the lowest. Like I remember leaving that studio crying and thing coming back like, wait, yo, like there's not for me.
Yeah,
like,
and
like remember I dropped out of school too, so I was like,
what
okay,
have
like,
I done?
What have I done, right? And it was like a real, okay, I have to make this work, and like, so you have to. But again, anything you want to do, you had to go through those dark days to get to like another. It might sound cliche, but that's the truth. Like
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. So and now obviously, me and Kess work. So that's like a really for me to like think about those days to now like obviously we collab on a lot of stuff is really cool. It's like a pinch me moment too as well too. Of like just staying with something.
So that producer, because like I say, y'all have been pretty prolific over the years.
Yeah.
That producer artist relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume just like actors and directors, you just have people that you vibe with.
100%.
And if you want a certain vibe for a song, you know what producer
100%.
to check, kind of thing.
I mean, yeah. I feel like so like again, so two people I work with closely right now, Michael and Kess, and I feel like that's how you, just for the sake of songs, you get the best songs when you have that the energy that just works in a room. Like I feel like throughout history that's always been the case, whether it's been pop music, whatever, soca, like you've had that producer-artist relationship that people have the same vision for where they want to go with the song. You know what I mean? So like when me and Kess are writing, it's similar to Teja, like we just, there's no ego. Like nobody's ever right, like who knows who's right or wrong? Like nobody knows what's going to be the best way to write this or what's the best way. We just kind of go off of what we feeling. And if I say nah, I don't like, it's like okay, let's try again to get better, you know. So I feel like I like to work with people like that, and I feel like moving forward, if I'm not, you know, if I'm in a situation where there's ego involved, I might just walk away from the situation. Like maybe I might, you know, work with that.
Yeah, because if you get into too much of friction, that'd be like added discouragement.
Yeah, for me, it's
You
not.
know?
It's not worth it if I'm gonna have to go through that. You know, making a song should be like, you know, enjoyable at the same time. So, yeah.
So, the vibes in your room. What was it like in your room for the ICC anthem?
Right,
Because as
so-
Kess,
and
Sean
Sean
Paul, Chanda Paul was there for the
Right.
video.
So I actually was not in the studio with Sean Paul. I started the song actually I started that song on Ash Wednesday, right after we found out.
What?
Because yeah, so I didn't even
No rest for the wicked boy.
Yeah.
Just real getting
Just
on, man.
win
Yeah.
and just you're like, hey, that real
Next
bad.
one,
Let me
yeah.
write another one there.
So that song actually came about Kess's manager, Damon, who's a good friend of mine. He messaged me, like this was during Carnival. He told me about the opportunity to get the, you know, like hey, he has opportunity to like, you know, try and pitch a cricket song for Kess and Sean Paul. And I was like, all right, cool, for sure. You know, I didn't know how serious it was at the time, because I was, again, it was in the middle of, like, I think it was the week before Carnival. And then on Ash Wednesday, he was like, yo, they want to hear something. So I kind of had to, like, put something together quickly, which was like Ash Wednesday, like put on a demo, send it to the agency. We then would have to send it to Sean Paul to like say, well, yes or no, you know. So that was like, so that process was basically, I kind of started the skeleton, would have sent it off, and then we had to get approval from like Sean Paul's team and then the agency. So it was a long process, like, because it was, you know, a lot of different moving parts. They had the ICC, the agency, Sean Paul, you know, so it was a lot of.
But you
back and forth.
whipped up that fairly quickly though.
Yeah, so I would have started something, and Kess, obviously, like I always start like a little idea, then Kess would come in and add his you know,
Okay, you work with
style.
Kess,
Yeah.
Bill,
So,
and
and then we would have sent it off to Sean Paul. So Sean Paul had to like it first, which obviously for me, I mean, you know, Sean Paul is somebody I grew up listening to, so I was like, wait, okay, Sean Paul, like that's cool, you know. And then we got a message saying like Sean Paul is in, like he likes it, and that was like the next like pinch me moment for me. I was like, okay, Sean Paul recorded on my beat. And then yeah, so that song actually, the only person I was in the studio with was Kess. I didn't actually. So Sean Paul just recorded in Jamaica and sent his vocals
right,
down.
okay.
Yeah, but I did get to meet him on the video shoot in Jamaica, which was
Yeah, I
very
mean,
cool
that
as well,
must
too.
have been.
So that for sure was like a how am I here moment. You know, we were in Jamaica on the set, which was, you know, like a really, like that's probably the coolest video set I've been on, you know, like trailers, whatever. We were in a trailer, and the person in control of the show was like, all right guys, you know, it's a shot with you, it's Michael Tano, Sean Paul walking in the party. That's the shot. And I'm just like, what's my life right now?
What?
Like literally, I in a music video.
How did I
walking
get
in
here?
the party with
In
Sean
Jamaica.
Paul, you know, in Jamaica, right? You know, this is the first time I'm meeting him. He was like, yo, what's up? And he was like, yo, bro, are you Bill the Rhythm? I was like, yeah, man, respect, you know, thing, whatever. And then, yeah, it was just, he was real cool. Like, real cool fella as well, too. Like, very, you know, humble and down-to-earth guy.
He seems
you know?
that way in his interviews, yeah.
But that was cool. That was definitely a how did I get here moment, for sure.
And then Sean Paul meets Chanda Paul.
Right, so that was
Finally.
that was like
That's-
a multiverse moment.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's
that
like
was-
Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah. That was actually real funny how the, because I'm pretty sure you saw the video of Sean Paul talking about it. Like they were just he was in the booth, and I think he said Chanda Paul, and like everybody just said, okay, but that sounds
did
like
you
Chanda
just say
Paul.
Chanda Paul?
Yeah, and then that just grew into that. It was real funny to see them together, and like Chanda Paul is real cool as well too. You know, so it was
Yeah.
like real funny to see that moment.
Yeah,
But
In front of me,
But
like,
ever
right?
since I was small, I've always known that it was Shana Paul, not Chanda Paul.
When
Like
it
that-
sounds like that.
well,
though.
we all know it was Chanda Paul.
It just
but
sound like- it
it's
sound like
just
that.
funny because he sounds like he's saying Chanda Paul.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tried to see Sean Paul and Chanda Paul, and he like, nah, well, them really didn't take me to say Chanda.
Yeah.
you,
Like,
you,
horse,
you
that
definitely you definitely got that selfie though.
Yeah,
That was
Sean,
a
yeah.
mind-blowing
Yeah,
moment
it was
for
cool.
me.
That was real cool.
Horse, nah,
was
that
real
was epic stuff.
But
Yeah.
like aside from Sean Paul, well, Russian is a producer. So have you produced for like artists outside of Trinidad or?
Yeah,
I
so
just
like,
I went through the manhole by your horse, but you was listening.
Well, I mean, I want him to talk more
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Okay.
So with Russian, I've done, I guess, a song with Rema, who's from Nigeria. So that song came out in 2020, and we were like, I think we were number one on Nigeria Apple Music for like a month, which was, again, like I didn't even like fathom what that was, because that was like my first big placement with Russia. That was my first song I got actually that came out. And then like I did a song with a guy called Mike Towers, who's like a huge Latin artist, and that album came out like a year ago, and they had like J Balvin on that. You know, they had a bunch of big like heavy hitters from the Latin world. So in that.
So you did that track, and then other artists.
Well, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, like that, the difference with that world is that it takes a long time, but like you could make a beat now and then the song coming out in 3 years, you know. So it's a
Right.
lot of different moving parts in that world, because it's now the teams are much bigger. There's labels involved. There's a lot more things that could go wrong and the song not come out. Like I've done beats, like I have songs with other artists, like vocals recorded, and you know the song might never come out. It might come out like you just don't know. In like that world is a lot. I have a lot less control, I guess, just because there's so many other factors going on. You know.
But I mean, you must come away from each of those sessions
Yeah.
having learned something that you can move
Yeah. So
forward
for
with.
sure, yeah, definitely. So like, I had a session with the same guy, Mike Towers. So he's like really big. He's a Puerto Rican artist, and I remember in the session, he wrote like I've never seen somebody work that fast. Like he was just like, all right, give me the beat, and he must have probably wrote like about 8 songs in like one night. Like literally, like just go in the booth, freestyle, pen thing. Like it was real incredible to see that type of like the way he was working. You know.
I guess that type of creativity, because
Yeah.
that's what that boils down to just.
Yeah. And I mean, again, and then when you're in Miami, you never know who you're going to see in the studio. So, like, I think I went up into 2021. I remember I was in the studio, and I think Russian was on the phone to somebody. And he was like, yeah, just pull up, yo. So I just, this is like the first time I in that world. So I just, like, sitting on the couch like this, whatever. And, like, 5 minutes later, Mavado walk in the studio. And I just, like, good night. Like again, it's like another like okay, like so yeah, bro. So that world is definitely getting accustomed to seeing people like who you would have like grown up listening to now. It's kind of surreal, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
and I feel like
cool.
it only gets. I mean, I guess it might get more normal, depending on how more you're in it. But yeah, it definitely is still surreal to me to be in those kind of situations.
That's awesome.
I mean, I don't know about France, but I just like in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking like you have to go to the studio from after here. So like I just wanted to. I mean, I don't know if you have any other points you want to touch on. I want to get like his social media
Okay.
and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
There's at least one more thing I want to touch on, but yeah, we
Okay.
could shout out the social.
yeah,
so
yeah.
social media is Tano.
We'll get that after.
Cool.
Put it on like
Cool.
I don't know. I feel like even after this, like it would still be times I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that is actually what I'm trying to do
Cool.
beyond the show itself, because
Sure.
like you linchpin, like I will ask for the IG after and like once I have time and thing, and if I'm not gonna like bug anybody or waste anybody's time. Like if I feel like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Like I'll be already expecting something positive, like, hey, I have this.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? You know?
Yeah.
No, we started this podcast just to pick people's brain,
Right.
and so
Right.
And it's becoming so much more.
it'll come after. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the not necessarily last thing, but one of the things I wanted to touch on, and Vaughn would not have known this before, but he could chime in because he's also a father. You're about to be a father.
Yes. 2 more
Word.
weeks. 2.5.
2 more weeks.
Yes.
2 more what?
Yeah.
So by the
Due
time
date.
this comes out,
Yeah.
Mikey's gonna be a dad.
That's right.
So, feelings.
About being a dad?
Yeah.
Nervous, excited, happy,
Yeah.
anxious.
Yeah, that's
Pretty much
all
sums
that.
it up, yeah. Yeah?
I don't know about France, but me personally, as I'm already a father, I think, I mean, you already have the I think the role model stuff in the bag.
Yeah.
You know what I
Thanks,
mean?
bro.
Just like between me and you,
Thanks, man.
like you have any idea if it's a boy, a girl, or
It's a
anything?
girl.
It's a girl.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be,
Yeah.
Tano's daughter.
Yeah.
And that's be I think for most fathers, like you want to be, aside from just being a
Yeah.
good father, you want to be
Yeah.
like a good role model.
Yeah.
it makes you
definitely-
feel
yeah,
good
yeah.
when you hear your daughter or your son be like, yeah, that's my dad.
That's my
or-
dad.
You
Yeah,
know?
I definitely, when I found out that she was pregnant, I feel like it gave me a different, I feel like I was motivated before, but I feel like now it's like, okay, nah, I had to do this because like, not just because of what, but like, I want to, like you say, like be like a role model, like, okay, like, gotta work, she gonna look at you and be like, all right, my dad is this or my, what I
You
mean? So,
are
yeah.
fucking cool to two big hardback men. So just imagine, like, when you, imagine your little girl. Yeah.
But no, like
Yeah.
the Vaughn makes a real good point in that you have the role model thing down pat. And
Forget about that.
You're a humble guy, so you may not think because you're already saying you have imposter syndrome and all this, which is normal, right? But you had to realize
This
for yourself
episode is
that
supposed to be Tano is like for the clickbait. Tano is a real mess.
Yeah. Tano says he is obviously
real
garbage.
mess.
Like
Yeah,
obviously I
obviously
was not good.
Yeah.
Obviously I was not
Oh
good.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Tano
the
repeatedly
amount of times he
says
said that
he's not
Tano
good.
is no good.
Yeah.
But
And
if you think of the story you've already told us, yes, you dropped out of school to take a risk on yourself. That's life lessons there.
Yeah.
You left a session with Kess and them crying because you were obviously not good.
Right.
No,
And
good.
I wasn't good.
I am not. This is not for me. What the hell have I done?
Yeah.
Fast forward 9 years later, in
Yeah.
the same year, you have
Yeah.
five of the five top soca tracks in the country, the top streaming soca track globally. You have the Road March winner, the Calypso Monarch winner, and the ICC
You had an Apple iTunes number one.
anthem. 9 years later. So I mean, you could teach that little one perseverance.
Yeah, man.
Like you could teach a course on perseverance
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, your
Yeah.
your kid is gonna learn lessons from you that
Yeah.
you can't pay for.
Yeah. Thanks.
I
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I
I'm
find
excited for you.
I really find stories like that like real kind of always romantic when you hear somebody just like I was doing this or whatever the case may be and I just gave up that and took a chance on myself and me and friends have like hard talks about it like friends I don't know but what you feel what you think but and be like we will give each other like realistic advice nothing like what you did but be like real like I did like bro I feel like you should think or whatever so we like every single time we sit down here and talk to somebody we like it reaffirms like you have to work plenty work
And I feel like I had like a good support system too, like brothers, friends. Like they had a point in time where I probably like was in the music but I wasn't working. And like I remember my older brother, as older brothers do, were like, dog, like what you
Just
doing?
needled you a little bit.
Yeah, he was like, and he kind of, not in like in a messed up way, but he was like, yo, it's like you're either doing this or you're not doing it. Like you have to be. And I think, having that type of like, support definitely helped. Because I mean, I feel like even when I started music, it was more like, all right, yeah, this, I like music, but you have to kind of like dive into like, like you would never know your true potential if you don't really go through that decade of like grinding. Like you will never know. Like you'll be like, all right, well, I kind of had a thing for music, but I would have never known I could have done this if I didn't really go through like the years of like trying to like figure it out, you know what I mean? So you have to really dive. You gotta dive, and you gotta dive hard.
Yeah. I understand that for sure, but I guess the only thing different is the I guess this if I'm being honest, it's just the support. Like I don't know about France, but I don't really have a lot of support. Like
But
doing
sometimes-
this, right?
Sometimes you gotta be your own support.
Yeah. And I mean, I have friends, so even if plenty times I'll just be like, why?
Yeah.
This is taken away from this.
Yeah.
Which is already working.
Yeah.
It's taken away from this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
Like the more you get into it, the more people like you I talk to, it's like
You have to,
it's like I'm close.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You never know how close you are too.
Yeah, you really never know.
And if you love doing it, I feel like that should be enough. As cliche as that may sound, like
No,
I feel like I would definitely not have been here if I didn't love music. Like it was not for no clout, money. It was just because I love making music. That sounds cliche, but I feel like that's the reason you would persevere. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Like I actually want the idea for the podcast was like an old thing. I just wanted to like focus more on my social media presence because like I was going to get more serious into fitness and I wanted my content to be more informative than like just bareback and doing whatever the case may be. That's cool.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I like on social media is stuff that's informative and it's like
Uplifting.
it's like verified.
Yeah.
It has like its foundations in science. So it's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So you're not leading people astray. And I do really have a big issue.
Well, Terrence Howard.
Leading people
Yeah.
wildly
I
astray.
I don't have a big issue if you're leading people astray because remember at the end of the day, I understand that people, want to make a living, and if that is working, then who's me to say,
Yeah.
well, hey, you shouldn't do this or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's more the fault of the people who consuming your product, right?
Yeah.
That's their issue.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And then I was talking to some people like locally that I saw were doing things kind of like what like I would have liked to do. And then I spoke to Franz because how we grew up together, anything informative or educational, like Franz is like a good delivery there. No? So in my mind, I'm piecing it together. Like I could, like the idea of the podcast was coming together, but I didn't know it was a podcast. And then me and Franz worked on a project with 519, and one of the owners of 519 came up with this thing like, hey, you guys would be great.
Yeah, see, that's how things happen.
Social media thing.
Yeah.
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 And so that is literally when I started taking it like serious to the extent of, so the wheels turning towards that now. And you could literally see it from episode to episode. Like I do, like it was a good idea. And then I just kept liking the idea more and more and more and more and more. And then again, it's like, not because you here, but you just keep getting guests on the show, and it's like, yeah, well, this
Keep reiterating.
They-
Yeah.
did what I have to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it always makes me feel like we're not far off from,
For sure.
you know?
I do know.
Yes.
But no, the perseverance seems to be the
Yeah,
thread through which that passes through everybody that
Every
we've had on so
single
far
guest.
is perseverance.
Despite adversity. I mean, like, I don't want anybody to feel nervous. Like, although it's hard, I am personally, like, hard is not like an issue for me. The motivation is but I will grind out anything. Like I would grind until like sparks flying and things. You see, like,
The
how you
last rep.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
last rep.
like, I do have the motivation though, and this is at first it was like just friends, but now it's like it's the semi,
Yeah.
so like she would talk, and you see the nice thing is like like we get in the real like what you all
what
went
on.
through,
Yeah,
what
bro.
is not like a
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not that all that glitters is gold kind of story.
yeah,
It's-
not a single. Everybody was like, yeah, well I was not good,
Yeah.
and then
except Faith.
Except.
Faith always seems to have been good. Like you don't find like
I mean,
I don't remember Faith saying anything about
perso-
struggling.
personally, although
Love
it's
you-
allowed,
love you, Faith.
Faith is a little bit of a dick, sometimes, but it's
Just to you and your crocs, so
Just
stop
to me,
toting.
yeah.
It's been months. It's been months.
I'm not giving that up.
Mikey,
Yeah, bro.
Tano, what projects you have? Any works that you could give us a little
So-
that have you excited? Whether or not you could like
Yeah. So
spill
I
too
have
much.
I have a lot of stuff coming out. Well, I'm working on a lot of music for this year coming. So I feel like last year it might sound crazy, but I really didn't plan to do that much soca. Like for me, I was like, if I do one song that makes impact, cool. I didn't plan last year, but I feel like this
You
year.
didn't plan on dominating the whole scene.
Well, if you want to say that,
Yeah,
I said it like
you're
that,
bun
right?
down
I said
the
it. He wouldn't say it, but I'll say it.
real
Yeah.
bun down the scene.
But like for me this year, I feel like I want to put a little bit more structure to the madness and kind of like just really dive into, making great music that will last. So we have some stuff coming. I can't really say too much
Well, that I figured.
about. But we definitely have some stuff in the works with some of the same
usual
some of the same
suspects.
suspects, some new people. So yeah, we have some cool stuff coming.
The new people is what I'm more excited
Yeah.
about because
Yeah.
I mean we already know you and Kess or
Kess,
you and Tasia
yeah.
is
Yeah.
is goal.
Yeah.
Winning.
Yeah, we have some good stuff coming, man. We have some good stuff coming.
But like, are these no? You don't have to call any names. But
Yeah,
are these
yeah.
artists actually new artists or just new to
So,
working
like,
with you?
I mean, they might be new to the general public. So
Right,
like, you know,
right,
I'm
yeah.
working on some stuff with this with Kutain, who's again, you should go and look him up, Kutain. And I just
I've heard that name before though.
yeah. So you know, they just have some really talented. I mean, he's popular. Like he has a huge following.
I've heard the name.
But yeah, I'm excited to like hear some new voices emerge among what is already there, you know. So that is actually what I get excited for, because like working with new artists also, it inspires me too as well, you know.
Now, well, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
and
bro.
good luck to you being a dad and all. That's like, wow, this
Yeah.
is
And
100% your year. This is your
a lot going on.
2024 was your
That's
year,
right.
bro.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Just winning, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then absolutely nothing will prepare you.
I know. Well, you
But-
said that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, but just, and I mean, for the good and the bad, nothing prepares you for either of it.
Yeah.
But the good is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think only having a child can prepare. Like, if you have one, then
You'll
the
know.
second one.
You can't,
is-
yeah.
I do.
I've heard that. I've
yeah,
heard that.
people can tell you what. You have to look
Yeah,
out for this.
nothing.
Duh, duh, duh.
Nothing. And you'll be there and like, somebody really did tell me about this, you know, but they didn't
France
tell
told
me.
me, you know.
They didn't tell me about this.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it will
yeah.
come off cue. Like,
Yeah.
isn't this what's happening now? Like,
Yeah.
Or like but like I said, like the good things are great. And then there's these weird little moments that you will experience eventually. And I just feel like telling a story. Like my son used to play with my beard when I had a beard. And then one day he just didn't
Right.
anymore.
You stop
like
playing with
it just stopped.
Yeah.
And like one day I
That's that
realized that he don't do this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah.
So those little things.
Little things,
is,
yeah. That's
man,
crazy.
It's a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful journey.
that's true. Like, it might be these are things that might be irritating at the time, but you just really miss it. Like when it's gone.
When they get older as well too. So
Yeah,
cherish.
my son, he does that too. And I'd be like real, because he's pulling my bed hard.
Yeah.
Oh no, he like
You know?
just played with it. Like he'd be lying there with his bottle or whatever and just reach up and
No.
play with it.
Like, my whole head would be rocking and thing. And he remember
pulling.
he's like 11. He's 11 months, and he'd be like rocking my head. But this is my second son,
Okay.
so I know that I will get to miss
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And like I said, if you have like one, everything is brand new.
Yeah.
The second one will still come
Yeah,
with like some new tricks and strategies on whatever the case may be. But like, it's still, I know.
You're ready.
I know for a fact, like, that, as irritating as it is, I will end up missing it, like,
Yeah.
sooner or later, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't even tell him anything. Like, all I just do is just like try to synchronize my movements so he doesn't like like give me whiplash.
You'll see.
yeah, next
Yeah.
time we have you on, you could
Yeah,
tell
we
us
can
some,
tell
us some stories.
Stories, bro.
Yeah, but no lie, from now, like, when I see Michael Montano, I'll be like, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was always like, wow, Marshall Montano. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck is Michael.
Michael.
But honestly,
Actually,
if
fun, I've literally gotten that for my whole life. Like, that's always been the joke. Like, every time I show my ID in Trinidad, obviously, they be like, I say it was Marshall, boy. Like,
Yeah.
like that joke that's still that going on up to this day. If I go to like a guard booth or anywhere where I have to show my ID, they will make that joke.
because it's
And
right
I,
there.
and I would be like,
Think
wait,
this-
boy, I never heard
people
that joke
think they're
before.
so
boy.
original.
Yes.
Like one of my instructor's daughters, she saw me come into class and she
Yeah.
says, "Hi, Europe."
Yeah.
I was like, "Hi," and she's like, "I called you Europe." I was like, "Yeah, I've never heard that before in all of my 43 years.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever made fun of my name."
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, that's new.
And then
Nah, but
and then I told her like, "Yeah, I've gotten it all. I've
Yeah.
gotten all. Paris, Spain, Germany, Europe, England. I've gotten
Yeah.
all."
Yeah.
So come on
but
now.
if it was just Tano out of that, because I've heard that name, like, your name is on the radio all about the place. Tano, oh, hey, producer, Tano. So I was like,
But
okay.
that actually caused an issue when you were an artist, because I remember when you were an artist, you use your middle name.
Yeah, so it was Michael Allen, because it would have been a little too similar to Michael.
Michael Montano.
Marshall Montano. And I can't even remember when I changed my name. I guess when I started producing, I was like, okay, let me have a different name from Michael Allen. So I just changed to like Montano, so Tano.
Tano.
I remember when you changed your name. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. It's like, let me just move away.
Because the
and-
Michael Tano was
Finally.
fine, but it
Yeah.
sounded like an R&B
It
artist.
sounded like a Backstreet Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he changed it to Tano. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that
now that
feels
works,
better.
boy.
Yeah.
That works.
Tano.
Yeah.
Tano is a
Easy,
big.
yeah.
Tano is definitely a big name right now.
Yeah.
So again, cannot thank you enough.
Thank you guys
for coming
for having
on.
me.
Please,
Keep up the great work.
I will.
Right?
We will.
Persevere.
We will.
Persevere.
I
All right,
will.
no
I will.
worries.
Glad you
Persevere.
came on.
Don't
We
give up.
we're gonna
When
hold
they
on.
go-
We're gonna be
yeah.
for sure. Be holding
Hold
on
on,
until
hold on.
until the next time you come on the
Hold
show.
on.
What's the social media like for everybody?
So
You can give us the public one.
Right. So Tano is Instagram, and Twitter is Tano Music with 3 C's because 1 C wasn't available.
Sweet.
Yeah, and that's all my socials. I guess.
But no underscore there because I'll get it like
So just Tano on Instagram.
Tano Instagram and then
Tano Music.
Twitter is Tano Music
With
3
3
C's.
C's, yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So well I will add you on Instagram and like message you over so you wouldn't be like who the fuck is
Yeah,
this, you know?
yes.
Yeah, Vaughn is about to nag you.
No problem.
No, I will not. You could ask Lynchpin. I like you. Although I have
Oh, you
the
ain't
number,
still
like
nagged them yet?
no, not yet. But once I like set up certain things, I'll be like, hey, all right, I know you're telling me about this. Was the next step from here? I'm not a nagging person because I understand like how the way I be busy. I understand like you might be 3 to 4 times as busy. So like I like to come with ideas where like everybody could see some kind of benefit to it. You know what I mean?
I feel it.
So you would get to you must get something out of an interaction with me. Otherwise, I'll just be like, ooh, all right,
Yeah.
let me just leave this man alone.
Yeah. No. Message me, man. Reach
Word up, man.
out. Yeah.
And any upcoming artists that wanna message Tano, be respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard how he reached out to Marshall back in the day, Mr. Montano, please.
Yeah, it was a long-
I really like your music. And
Yeah, it would be an honor.
No,
So
I
it
mean
would be
like
an honor, yeah,
that's
exactly.
how that
just
should be
jump out
like
and
your
say-
takeaway. we gave you all like the blueprint. Like this is how you do things. This is how you get ahead. This is what Tano did, and like I feel like anybody anybody should do that. You send an email, be professional, represent yourself.
Just focus on your craft too, and your writings will fall into place too. Like just focus on what you could do in front of you. Like which is, if you're trying to be a singer, you need to be able to sing good. Trying to be a producer, you gotta learn.
sing on the metronome.
Yeah, sing on you gotta just be good at what you do and
Know
everything
what a
else.
metronome is.
And if
Correct.
you happen, and if you
That was a
happen to
tough
be,
night, boy. That was
if
a
you
tough
happen to
night.
be no good,
I
then
was
you
like,
need to
nah,
persevere.
Michael, yeah.
But even if you're no good,
Even if.
stick at it.
Stick
Yeah,
at it.
don't give up. Don't give up, guys. All right, so we are heading out again. Tano, thank you so much for joining
Having me,
us.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Another amazing episode in the bag. So stay tuned for more. Like, comment, subscribe. Guys, thank you as well for joining us. We will see you all next time.
Peace out. And before we start, I would just like to ask everybody to write which one is you in the comments. A grand total
If
of
you
15
know, you know.
people will get that joke, but they'll really appreciate it. So please, which one is you in the comments?
Nico is my personal friend for many, many, many years, friends as well. And he is somebody that I regularly consult with. So, you want to get advice, tips, let me know where I'm going wrong. And Nico will definitely tell me, I feel like you need to do this better. This is not good, X, Y, Z. So I always feel like I'm going in the right direction. If Nico says, yeah, I like this. I mean, obviously,
No, I know that. It's just
for a lot of things, when me and Nico correspond, he will tell me something, and I will definitely be like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea." Into the bin. That is not gonna. We are not gonna get away with that.
If I really take a step back and kind of look at where my life was about 10 years ago, right? I was in a very different place than I am now, and I'm very grateful for that, right? And it really just started with, maybe about, say, that odd 10 years ago, kind of taking a look at my life and saying, well, where am I at now and where I really want to be?